Hey everybody, this is Michelle, Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. Today what we're going to do is make this awesome document folder. This was inspired by my best friend Jackie, who asked me to make a document folder for her that she could store, marriage certificates, birth certificates, all the kinds of important papers that you would want to store, but store it in a beautiful manner, and then also be able to have it like as a coffee table book in case you wanted to have it out when family came over for an occasion. And so I had shared my idea of what I was going to be doing in a shopping haul that I did with Country Craft Creations. I purchased Photo Play's Everyday Junk, and I just absolutely loved it. And when I saw it, I thought, this is perfect. This is the paper I've been waiting for to make this document folder. So I'm going to real quick share with you the finished piece. We're going to dive into the tutorial, and then before we get to the tutorial, I'm going to show you some pictures of my own coffee table and how this looks kind of all spread out. I'm going to have some photos, because this is a huge project, and the video, I can't zoom out far enough in my desk area to really show you how big this is, but it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's compact, but you're also going to have a ton of room to store some really great, documents. I think this would be great for not only your family documents, but you could make this as a school document holder for your kids. I mean, this would be just amazing in a bunch of different applications. So I'm even thinking like a cookbook would be really kind of cool, because you could store full page printouts and all kinds of stuff, and there's lots of pockets and everything. So anyways, let's it's 11.5 tall. It is let me double check for you on the width, because now right off the top of my head I can't remember. It is, get my ruler right, 9 inches wide. It has a 1 1/4 inch spine, and it holds quite a bit. So I use the papers Photo Play Everyday Junk, and I purchased that from Country Craft Creations. It's all still available. I used coffee felt brown for the base of this. I added some stickers to the front up here and here, but I didn't do a lot of decoration, because again, I want to be able to put it in my file cabinet, and store it too. So, this is an all-purpose kind of project, so I didn't do a lot of things, but you could, if you wanted to, really decorate the front. The spine looks like that. Here's the back page, and then it opens up. And what we have are pages that are big enough to put 8.5 by 11 documents in. So any certificates, anything you wanted to save and keep, this would be perfect for. And then the other thing that you could do is, once you put your documents in, you could put a piece of acetate over the top of them and help protect them too. So there's options with that. I'm going to show you how to make all the photo corners and how to cut the pattern papers to make it so that if you use directional paper, it's going to work out perfect. It's basically a two-sided thing. You can do this like if you were given it as a wedding gift, bride side, groom side, however you want to do it. But I'm going to show you the one side here. So it opens up like this. You have a big folder here to put lots of documents in. In my prototype, I used magnets. Today I decided to use velcro. I wanted to see how that's going to work, and it's going to work out perfect. So here is the spine over here, the inside spine, and you have these two areas here, and these both open up as well. So you have yet another pocket here that's a nice accordion pocket, will hold lots of stuff. You have more document space over here, and then over here, this flap that opens up, you have a big pocket without a flap, and then you have two smaller pockets here that we created, or will create, I should say, out of pattern paper. Let me get a piece so I can show you. And this pocket is glued in the middle, so you could put smaller documents in there. There's lots of extra space. So I talk about it in the tutorial, where you could put, you could glue envelopes on here and use those as well to hold smaller stuff. The possibilities are just endless, and the things are just endless. So let me open this side up for you. I did decorate throughout with some extra stickers. Here's another big pocket. This just basically mirrors the other side, and then these two open up, and again, you have another large pocket on this side. You have two glued pockets here, and then you have your big pocket down in here. And you can see it just keeps going and going and going, and you can hold a whole bunch of stuff in here. So I just think it's a really great project, and it works up really quick. It is big. So I'll warn you about that now. It does, it is big, but as you work on it, and as you can see in the tutorial to follow, as I'm working on certain pieces, you know, you can fold it over on itself and, you know, really kind of, you know, maximize your room here on, if you have a small desk like I do. I needed to do that, but it's a great project. I think you're going to like it. And I'm going to show you some pictures here real quick, and then we'll get started with the tutorial. Thanks for watching, and let's get going. Hello everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. Today what we're going to do is this document folio that I shared with you during a Country Craft Creations shopping haul video, and I said that I was going to do it using papers from Photoplay that I had purchased from Country Craft Creations. I have everything prepped, so I can't really show you the papers right now, but this is Photoplay and this is Everyday Junk, and I got the paper collection. This is a sticker pack that came with it, and I said I was going to do this tutorial. Now this folio that I'm going to show you how to make today is something that my bestie Jackie asked me to make for her a long time ago, and I never really did a tutorial on it at all, but it was really kind of a cool project. So when it opens up, you see these big pages. Now what she wanted was something that you could file in a file cabinet, but also you could put it out, you know, like on a coffee table, and then you could fill it with documents like marriage certificates, birth certificates, things like that, and also have other pockets for other kind of keepsake things. Now this thing gets really big, so but there's giant large pockets, both side opening and top opening. There's 6 total document folders, and it's done in 2 sides. So, you know, if you did want to make this and like give it as a gift, you could do like, you know, for a wedding, and you could have like the bride's papers and the groom's papers, however you wanted to put this together. But it basically mirrors itself and has a lot of places to put things. And then this opens up as well, and then you have a side pocket here, and then we have kind of this bonus page, which is actually the other side of the cover, that you could put like other little pockets or things like that, you know, to store smaller items. You could also take scraps and do things like add envelopes for other smaller pieces, and then you could glue them so that you also have tuck pockets behind. So quite a versatile type project, and I'm going to show you how to make the bones of it and how to make the big pockets, and then you can go to town adding like different envelopes, you know, other little pockets that you want to add to it. But it's a really cool project, I think. Has, like I said, 2 sides that mirror each other. And again, like this is the first side. It opens up like this. You have a page that opens up like this, and then this opens up again. Okay, so it's quite a large project, and it does hold quite a bit. So let's get started. I'm going to use Country Craft Creations papers for this, cardstock that is. We're going to use the coffee felt brown papers, and we'll go ahead and get started with that. And then we're going to use, again, Photoplay Everyday Junk, and I did purchase that through Country Craft Creations. So there's that. In the prototype that I just showed you, I used magnets for closure for the envelopes. You don't necessarily really need to do that, but for this particular project, I think I might use some velcro that I had in my stash that I want to use. So we're gonna probably do that and try it, but you don't necessarily have to do anything if you don't want to. All right, so the cover pieces, I'm calling pieces A. You need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 10 3/4 by 11 1/2. Now this is going to be plenty big to hold like 8 1/2 by 11 papers. So it is a large project. So you're going to take your 2 pieces. This will be the covers, and we're going to put them in our scoreboard. You're going to score at 1/2 and at 9 1/2. You're going to do both of them the same way. So again, that is what I'm calling piece A, and this is going to create the covers. Okay, let's go ahead and actually let's do this. Let's get all the scoring done, and then we can just put it all together at the same time, okay? So then the next pieces that you will need 2 pieces that are 9 3/4 minus 1/16 by 11.5, okay? So when I say that 9 3/4 minus the 16th, so you're gonna put it up to the 9 3/4 inch mark, but then you're gonna back it off just a little bit. So it's right in between 9 5/8 and 9 3/4. And that way you make sure that the page is just enough, small enough to fit within all of the folds of this project, okay? So you're gonna tap 2 of those, and we're going to put it in our scoreboard with the 9 3/4 minus the 16th at the top. We're going to score at 1/2 and 3/4, okay? So that's piece B. You need 2 of them. The other thing I want to let you know is that all of this will be, the cut guide for the cardstock will be in the video description down below. So if you don't have a notepad handy, you can get it down below and copy, paste, and print it off, or you can get a notebook right now and back up and then write all these things down, okay? Piece C, again, you need 2 pieces of those, 9 3/4 by 11.5, and you're going to score this at 1/2. And then you're going to go all the way over to the other side, and you're going to score at 9.5, okay? So that is piece C. We're going to put that off to the side. You need 2 of them. And then piece D, 2 of these again, and you're going to need a piece that is 9 1/4 minus the 16th. So again, you're going to back it off just a little bit when you go to cut it. So it's right in between 9 1/8 and 9 1/4 by 11.5. And then we're going to put it in our scoreboard, 9 1/4 minus the 16th at the top, and you're going to score at 1/4. Okay, that's all you're going to do to that, and you need 2 pieces of that. So here, let's go ahead. Since we have these all done, then we're going to just put this part together. So this is basically the folio backbone, as you know, folio backbone. Here's piece A. Again, you need 2 pieces that are 10 3/4 by 11.5. Once you get everything scored, just fold and burnish. This piece that I am burnishing here, this wider piece here, is going to be the spine of our folio. It will be 1 1/4 inch wide, okay? And we'll fold these. That is the 1/2 inch. Okay, so you have the 2 pieces like this. And I do, you know, this is a big project. This is going to take up most of my desk. Okay, so we have the 2 pieces together. So we're just basically going to glue the 2 1 1/4 inch pieces together, okay? So this will be, once it's glued together, that'll be the front of my folio, okay? So just grab your art glitter glue. Don't miter anything, because we're using the 2 pieces glued together to kind of reinforce the spine, since there's no chipboard involved in this project. Okay, make sure I didn't get glue here on my desk, and then I'm just going to line this up so that the 2 1 1/4 inch pieces line up and everything is nice and straight. You want to make sure that when you do lay that down, that you don't put it all the way to the score. You want to make sure that this is going to turn nicely, okay? Then I'm just going to burnish and fold those spines and make sure that everything is nice and glued down, okay? So you should have something like that, all right? Those are the 2 A pieces here. Then let's grab our B pieces. We'll put this off to the side for just a sec. We'll fold and burnish our B pieces. Okay, so you should have a score that is a 1/2 inch, and then a score that is at 3/4 inch. Trying to make sure everything's nice and straight here. Okay, so you should have something that looks like that once you burnish it. Okay. Let's do this other side here real quick. Just be careful because it's a long score. And usually the longer the scores, I try to start in the middle and work my way out. And that usually keeps everything nice and straight. All right, so these 2 pieces are going to glue inside of A. Okay, so this is our A piece that we put together, the covers of our Folio. These pieces are going to be the pieces that will adhere to either side of the spine, okay? That 1/2 inch strip here, that's what we're going to glue down. So I'm going to grab my little scissors. We are going to miter the 1/2 inch score only, okay? And then on either side of our spine in the middle, we're going to glue that down, okay? So I'm just going to fold that down. I'm going to add glue. Okay, and I'm going to glue this down right to the other side of that score on the spine and just make sure everything is lined up top to bottom. Okay, I'm going to grab this tool and lay that down, and then let's open that up. So here's our spine, that's where it's laying down. Okay, make sure that's burnished down. I had an extra score in that 1/2 inch mark. I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you do see it and you're concerned about it, don't worry about it because that was a boo-boo. You do want the 1/2 inch and you want the 1/4 inch. So that's going to, when it folds up, it'll give a nice little space there for documents, okay? The other side is going to go on the opposite side of that spine. So I'm just going to miter the 1/2 inch scores again. Okay, put glue. This comes together really fast. It's a big project, but it comes together really super fast. And the good part is that you don't have to like cover every single page with pattern paper because, you know, you pages with the corner pieces on there. I'm going to turn it around so I can see better. The pages with the little corner tabs, the photo corners that we're going to make, you don't have to cover those pages with pattern paper because the documents are going to be there. So, you know, you'd cover up the pattern paper. So, you know, you don't need a whole lot. Now, I did use the entire pack of paper for this project, and I didn't have much left over. I have a few little strips left over, but I basically used the entire thing. Okay, so now if we turn it back, we have our B pieces. Here's our spine. Okay, our book will fold up like that and like so. Okay, so that's what we've got now done. B pieces are in. So then I'm going to go ahead and put this off to the side. We'll grab pieces C. These are the 9 3/4 by 11 1/2. You should have a 1/2 inch score on one side and a 1/4 inch score on the other. We're going to go ahead and fold and burnish. Just be careful with that 1/4 inch score. Those are definitely harder to do. And then you've got the 1/2 inch here. Okay. I'm going to have 2 of those. Now these pieces here are going to create pages, and these pieces that we're folding right now and burnishing are going to actually be spines. So we're not going to miter these pieces. So do not miter anything on C, okay? And that will help reinforce the little spines that we're going to create with these. It'll make more sense in a second. Just burnish them, do not miter them. And then we'll get our piece back here, our big folder. Gonna open it up. So the 1/2 inch score here, if we open up that B piece, this is our back cover, okay? Our spine and our back cover. This is going to attach to that. All right, so I'm gonna move that over a little bit. I am going to put glue here. And again, do not miter these. It's going to help reinforce that. And then we're just going to match those 1/2 inch scores up, okay? So we're attaching the C piece to our A piece, which is the cover, okay? And just make sure you don't get it into the spine. you know, so that it turns properly, and we'll put that in the right direction, okay? Fold that back over, make sure everything's nice and glued down and burnished and everything's nice and straight, okay? That is the C piece. So when you fold B in there, and then the C will go over top of that, okay? So just like that, okay? So we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. All right. So here is our B piece. We'll open that up and get that out of the way. Told you this gets big. It gets big, but it's really kind of cool. And I think when I get done with this and get it all decorated and stuff, I'll put it on my coffee table and I'll demonstrate how big this thing actually gets and how cool it is. I just think it's going to be really a neat thing. She really liked it, the one that I made for her, and I really like this one that I made for myself, the prototype. And it does fit into your file cabinet. So, you know, if you didn't want to display it, you could just have a really pretty place to hold your documents. This would be cute in school papers, or yeah, school papers, so that you could keep your child's certificates. That would be a fun thing to do. I'm just burnishing down that 1/2 inch score, okay, just to make sure that that spine is nice and burnished down and glued. So now the B piece is here, the C piece goes over top. So if you look at it now, this is what you should have, okay? All right, and then it folds up like this. Okay, we got one more piece to add, and you probably already guessed that this piece that we just added to C has that 1/4 inch gusset right here, that 1/4 inch piece. We're gonna just take our D pieces that have that 1/4 inch, that was the only score that we had, and we're gonna fold and burnish and add that to that piece, okay? So let's just fold that down ever so gently. Start in the middle. Try and keep that as nice and straight as possible. Okay. Then we can open that back up, and then that is going to glue there. Okay. So I'm kind of folding it up on itself as I'm working on this, just to kind of make room, because again, sorry, this is a big project. So just add your glue here, and you could use score tape if you wanted to, no big deal. And I'm not getting really fancy with like adding ribbon closures and all that other stuff, because of the idea that you could, you know, you want it kind of not decorated so much if you're going to put it in, you know, the file cabinet, okay? If that's going to be where you're going to store it. You just want a pretty thing to store your documents in. Now, if you are going to keep this as a definite like coffee table type book, then by all means you can decorate, you can add ribbon closures to it, all kinds of stuff, okay? All right. So that is the D piece. Okay. So that folds in, and then that folds in like that, okay? So this side is completely done. So it opens up like this, and then you have the two pieces, the D piece and the B piece here in my right hand, that open up, okay? And then they both fold in, and then that folds in like that, all right? So then we need to add the last piece to this side. So we're gonna open this up, kind of roll it up on itself here, open that side up. And I know this probably looks pretty complicated. It's not. And when you get the pieces done and kind of lay them out, it's going to make a lot of sense. And the first time that I did this, I actually kind of laid it out on my dining room table because I had room, you know, for a large project like that. And it worked out pretty good. So that's kind of a hint to make this. All right. So this is the 1/4 inch. Again, don't miter that. The only one you're going to miter is B. Lay that down. rag. Whoop. And a string. Got to get a string while I'm at it, right? Okay. And that is that. Got a little carried away with the glue there. Yeah, so just burnish that down. Make sure it's nice and straight. And fold it ever so gently. Make sure that everything lines up nice. Okay. Then I'm going to just kind of fold that 1/4 inch spine in. Do that. All right. So, again, you have your B piece that we added. And then this is the one we just added. This is the D piece, okay? And it just folds in like that, and then it folds in like that. And then you have that, and you're done. So this is the cover. You've got your spine here, and then if you look on the sides, you should have 2 1/2-inch gussets right here, okay? And I did leave a little bit of space. This spine is 1 1/4 inches, and this is only 1 inch over here. But I did leave a little space because in here, that's where you're going to put some photo corners, and then that'll take up some of the room for that, okay? So once you get done with that, we can go ahead and we can put our pattern papers onto our covers, okay? So I'm just going to kind of open this up a little bit so you can see. Let's just do it like this, and then I'll kind of do it off camera. You won't have to see that part, but I did cut some papers that I'm using for my spines, and then, or for my covers, and then I do have a spine piece here. So let's talk about the papers here. So for the covers, I decided I really wanted kind of a matte with this, and this paper collection does come with some solid cardstock, and I really like the peach color. I don't know, it just kind of really made it pop, I think, with the brown, so I really wanted to use it, kind of play up in the colors in the papers. So I cut 2 of those at 8 3/4 by 11 1/4, and then I cut my pattern papers here at 8 1/2 by 11. For the spine, I cut the cardstock mat out of the peach at 1 by 11 1/4, and then the pattern paper is 3/4 by 11. So everything is a 1/4 inch smaller on the outer cover, okay? Then for the inside spine, I did cut a piece. On the inside, I cut it at 1/8 inch smaller. So this piece here measures 1 1/8 by 11 3/8. And then I have 2 pieces for the outer little spines on the right-hand side. Anyways, I did cut these at 1/4 inch by 11 3/8, and those are going to go on those outer spines. And then this is going to go on the inside spine of our book, okay? So let's see. I did wait until I saw what scraps I had left over to cut these pattern papers from. For the covers and stuff, I did cut those first, but for the spines and these little pieces, I kind of waited to see what I had left over, all right? I'm going to put these on. I'll be right back, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, book is covered, so here is the front. And I like the paper. It said the family receipt book. I thought that was kind of clever, so I decided I wanted to use that on the front. And there's the spine, there's the back. You have your 2 1/2-inch spines here covered, and then we have our spine here covered. So let's start looking at pockets now and get those taken care of. So we have side opening pockets that we're going to make. And we're going to, let me show you, where's my book? The side opening pockets, if you open up your book, so you open it up and then you open it up again, they're going to be on the outer panels here, and they're going to have a nice big flap and a nice huge pocket, okay? So you'll have one on each side, like so. I'm going to knock over my stuff. So let's do that. We have these pieces that you will need. So you're going to make 2 of them. So you'll need all of these pieces to make 2 pockets. You need 2 that are 6 by 11 1/2, 4 that are 1 by 6, 2 that are 1 by 11 1/2, and then 2 that are 5 by 11 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to put that off to the side here. I'm going to grab our scoreboard and let's do some scoring. So on your pieces, on the 1-inch pieces, okay, so this one is the 6 by 1, you're just going to score all of those down the middle at 1/2, okay? These are going to create hinges for our pockets. These aren't accordions, okay? You need 4 of those. They're just basically attachment pieces, okay? So you need 4 that are 6 inches, and then you need 2 that are 1 by 11.5, and again, go down the middle at 1/2 inch, okay? Then you need your 2 pieces here that are going to be your flaps. These pieces measure 5 by 11.5. You're going to put it with the 5 at the score, or the top, excuse me, and score down at 1/2, okay? So 2 of those, 5 by 11.5. And those are the flaps for your pockets. And then you have your actual pockets. These do not get scored. They are 6 by 11.5, okay? Once you get done with that, then we're going to make one pocket together, and then I will make the other pocket on my own. So I'm going to take the 2 I need and put those off to the side. And I'm going to grab the pieces that we're going to do together. All of these get folded and burnished like so. And then these connector pieces we are going to miter. Okay, so you're just going to grab your scissors and cut from the fold just to miter those a little bit so they'll look like that. Okay, all of those get done like that. And last one, I have little triangles all over the place. Okay, get those out of the way. Then our flap piece, we're just going to fold and burnish that. We're going to miter that 1/2 inch tab. And then I'm also going to round the corners because I want to. So I'm going to use this one here. This is a 1 inch corner rounder. I like it. Let's do it the other way. There we go. All right, rounding our corners, and then we're going to put our pocket together. Okay, so we have our pocket. Make sure on this paper here, the coffee felt brown, it has kind of a textured side on one side and it's a little more smooth on the other. The smooth side is like the inside, so that's where I'm going to glue my pieces. So I'm just going to make sure I didn't cut these too long, and I'm going to glue these down and just make it like a pocket. So I was trying to kind of conserve paper instead of since the pocket was 6 inches, I was able to get 2 big pieces out of 1 piece of 12 by 12 paper, and then I used scraps to make these hinges. So it's a little bit more work, but I wasted less paper, I guess. And it's 11.5, so you can't, you need a 12.5 piece of paper to get the side. So that's why I ended up doing it like I did it. But it works. It works great. I'm just going to glue these down. And then, let's see, let's do the other one. Like so. Turn that around just so I can see it better. And glue that down. Okay. All right, so then what we're going to do is grab our book. And now remembering that when you open up your book, then you're going to open it up one more time and it's going to go on that inside flap here. That's where we're going to put it. So we're going to open our book. All right. See, it gets big and it does get a little hard to work with, but it's worth it. Okay, open up our book, open it up one more time. This is where it's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to take this off for now. And then I'm going to grab my pocket piece, okay? So this pocket piece is going to glue to the edge of the page, okay? So this is on that flap here, that last flap for the envelope will go here, All right, so I have my pocket. It's going to glue to the edge of that page. I'm going to go ahead and use my glue. I'm going to put glue on that. And then I'm going to, let's see, do that. I'm going to get this piece of paper so you can see it a little bit better here. This is kind of the edge of the page here. I'm just going to put that little piece of paper here. I'm going to turn this over, and I'm just going to glue that right to the edge. Make sure that it's, you know, lined up top to bottom. Okay. And then grab my bone folder here. Burnish that down, and then I'll open that up and burnish that down. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and just put tape on this one edge, these two edges down at the bottom, and then that'll help make sure that our papers don't get messed up when we put them in and out of the pocket. Okay, so I'm just going to take some tape. I'm going to do it on both sides because we have kind of a rough edge on both sides, so that's why I'm going to do that. And then that just will help make sure that our pocket doesn't, you know, attack our papers when we try to put them in. So we don't want our papers attacked, right? Okay. Burnish that tape down really good. And I'll just keep it nice and smooth so that way things go in and out nicely. Okay. And then we'll just glue that pocket back up. So we're going to put glue on the sides, up and down. Fold that over, glue that down. Okay. Okay, so that's going to give you that nice big pocket right here. Okay, get rid of that paper because it's just for show. And then we'll grab our flap here, and our flap will just glue to the edge of that page like so and go over that pocket. Okay. I'm going to need more glue here soon, I can tell. Okay. Then you're going to mirror this on the other side. Okay. So I will do that separately, but we'll do the left side of this together, and then I'll do the other side separately. Okay. So there's your pocket right there. And then I do have pattern papers ready to go for this. So I did cut them. I need to round the corners, but we're going to have this. We're going to have this piece here be the inside of that. Then we're going to cut a piece that goes here. And then I did cut a piece, and it's not a long piece, but it's going to tuck into the pocket. It's going to cover the first part of the tabs on the sides, and then it's going to cover where that flap joins, like so. Okay, that's what's going to be going there. And then once I get that on, then I'm going to add my little Velcro closure, and then we will have a nice closure for that pocket. Okay, so that's what's happening there. I'm going to go ahead and just stick this off to the side as we'll get the construction done, and then I will finish the pattern paper, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's all completed. Okay, so there's that for that. And again, you're going to mirror the other side. Okay, so let's close it up, and then let's grab the next piece, which is the vertical pocket. Here's the vertical pocket. So again, we're going to make 2 of these. So you'll need 4 pieces total, 2 that are 8 7/8 by 6, 2 that are 2 that are 11 7/8 by 8.5. Okay, so let's do that again. The vertical pocket with the flap, 2 of them are 8 7/8 by 6, and 2 are 11 7/8 by 8.5. Okay, so you're going to make 2 of each of those. I'm going to take these off to the side because I will finish that off camera since they're both the same. And then we will grab our scoreboard wherever I hit it for myself. And we're going to take, let's do the bigger piece first. This is the accordion pocket. We're going to put it with the 11 7/8 at the top. And you're going to score at half, at 1, and at 1 1/2. Go down to here, score at 10 3/8, 10 7/8, and 11 3/8. Okay, so half, 1, 1 1/2, 10 3/8, 10 7/8, 11 3/8. And then what I like to do is just completely flip this over, and the middle score here, at the 1 inch, I'm going to rescore that so it goes in the proper direction of the folds when we get to that part, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing. So that middle score we made at 10 7/8, I'm going to rescore that just so that the scores go in the right spot, okay? Turn it back to the front, okay? Then turn it to the side, 8 1/2 at the top, score at 1 1/2. Okay, that's all you're going to do. Then you're going to have the flap for this. This is 6 by 8 7/8. We're going to put the 6 at the top. Okay, we're going to score at half and 5/8. And that'll give you an 1/8 inch gusset for your flap. Okay, so to prepare this, we're just going to fold and burnish again. This is our flap. Be careful with that 1/8 inch gusset because it can be a little persnickety. You can use an 1/8 inch spacer from Country Craft Creations to help with that if you need to. It will actually fold right over and help you fold that score if you have trouble. So that's a little hint I can give you for that. Then you're going to miter the 1/2 inch only, not the 1/8 inch. Okay, because that's going to become the top kind of portion of the flap there. So you want it nice and straight. You don't want it mitered. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll round the corners on the flap. Get that done. Oops, I didn't do that very well. Try that again. That's more better. Then we'll put this off to the side. We will grab our pocket. So we have all of our scores. So we got to fold and burnish. So this is the front. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold in, out, and in. Now, in my experience, when I do the scoring, you know, the opposite direction, like I showed you, where you do, we went back and we did that middle score the other direction, it does make for a straighter accordion when you do that. Okay, for the most part. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes if I get it off or whatever, it might. But I find that 99% of the time when I do that, my scores are very even. Rather than scoring all on the same side for an accordion, because you really want to have mountains and valleys when you're going to have mountains and valleys, right? Okay, so we got that done. Let's open that back up and we'll fold the bottom. Okay, now grab your scissors straight up, and then I'm going to angle the accordion just a little bit. Okay, so cut straight up, angle that, cut straight up, and I'm cutting the score line out, and then angle that bottom. Okay, oop, didn't quite get that, did I? There we go. So we got the bottoms done, and then on the tops here, we're just going to angle this outer 1/2 inch tab. Leave the other ones intact. Okay, so they're straight, and then this last one is the only one that's angled. Okay, then we're going to grab our project here, and what we're going to do with this, let me show you on the prototype here. So we'll open our project, and then we're going to open it up again. Okay, so here's the pocket we just put down. open it up again. This pocket's going to go down underneath, okay? And you can see here I did add an envelope that you can either do, I didn't do this one, but you could add it so that it's glued on 3 sides, and then it has a pocket up here as well. And then you can put stuff in the envelope. So that's an option for you if you want to do it. But then we're going to have this flap here, and then you're going to have a nice little gusset envelope here, and then an 1/8 inch gusset on the flap there, okay? And again, I did use magnets on this one, but we're going to use Velcro on this one. So that's where it's going to go. It's going to go underneath that pocket that we just created. So we will grab our piece here. Okay, we're going to open it up. Open it up. Okay, so there's our pocket that we just added. So we're going to flip that back. This is where this is going to go. So what you're going to do first is we're going to fold in our accordions. Okay. I always hide everything from myself. I don't even understand how I can do that every single time. All right, little bit of glue here. Little bit of glue here at the bottom. And we're going to fold that over, and it's going to be a little bit difficult, you know, because it's far apart, but you can do one at a time and then use a clip and hold that down. Okay, like so, if I can get my clips. All right, and then this is just going to glue like right there. Okay, so the other thing that I would like to do is put tape on here. And I made it a little bit harder on myself to do that, but it can be done. So I'm going to grab my piece of tape. And I'm going to put it down so sticky side is up. And I'm just going to position it right under there while that's drying. And then just lay that down over top of it. And then when I glue this down, then that tape will glue to my piece. Okay, like so. So I'm going to go ahead and I can put glue on all 4 sides. I'm going to be confident about this. And wish me luck. All right, so glue down these sides. Glue here. Okay. Turn this over, and I'm going to line it up at the bottom, and it should fit really perfectly between those scores. Maybe a little bit of room in between, just maybe like a 1/16 of an inch from the edge of the pocket to the scores. Okay, and then just lay that down. Use your bone folder and burnish that down. Okay, there's your pocket. Then we got our flap, and we're just going to add that to the top of the page. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that down for a second. Add glue to this piece. So this is our flap. And remember, you're going to do this one more time on the opposite side. Okay. So I'm going to stand up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to line this up so that it fits the sides of my pockets. You know, it matches the sides of my pockets. I don't get it off. I'm going to line it up to the top of the page, like so. Okay? Like that. Okay. And again, I have my papers selected. So, for example, flap on the top. Oh, I cut it a little bit long. Flap on the bottom. I didn't cut that right. Okay, so yeah, I can fix that later. I cut it a little bit too long. This little piece here is an extra piece that I cut. So we got the pocket, and then I just cut a little piece. And again, that's just going to go into the pocket just a little bit. You don't have to cover the whole entire pocket underneath because nobody's going to see that anyway. So just a piece long enough to fit under the pocket, at least about 1 inch or so. Okay, so that's where that's going to go. And I will adjust my length on this. I think I added the gusset to the length, which is exactly what I did. I forgot that it was going to be a gusset, so I will trim that later. But that's what's going to go there, okay? So that is that pocket. Now the next thing we're going to do is on the inside here. So this is that B flap that we added to the inside of the spine right there. This is where we're going to put this side opening gusseted pocket. Okay, and it doesn't have a flap on it, it's just a big pocket. And again, I did add the envelope here that you could put things in if you want to. So let's get this out of the way and let's talk about that. All right, so this is what I'm calling the horizontal gusset pocket page. It's a full page. Again, we're making two, so you do need two pieces that are 8.5 by 11.5 and 4 pieces that are 2 by 7 and 7/8, and those are gusset pieces, okay? So I'm going to take 2 of those and 1 of the big pieces, and I'm going to put that off to the side and do that later. Do one with you now. So we have our big piece here. It was scored. Let's score this. 8.5 by 11. We're going to score on the 8.5 at 1/2. That's all we're going to do with that. That's going to be the bottom. And then you're going to have the 2 side gusseted pieces, and these are again 2 by 7 and 7/8. And we're going to score this one here at 1/2. And to make it easy on ourselves, we'll score at 1.5 and then turn it over and score in the middle of those 2 at 1. Okay, so our scores are going in the right directions. Okay, so again, 2 at the top, we're going to score at 1/2, 1.5, then turn it around, turn it over to the back side and score down the middle at 1. Okay, so now our score lines, you always want to fold where the valley is, you want to fold it and make it a mountain. Okay, where it's a mountain, you want to make that a valley. Okay, and that's the proper way to do a score line. So we're going to fold these. And this is the way I do my rosettes too. I did a big tutorial about rosettes, and I always, you know, really try to get my score lines the appropriate directions, especially when you're doing something like this with accordions. It's really important. Okay, and also with the paper that you're using too, because some papers don't take a joke, and if you score them and then fold them the opposite way, they'll break. Artisan Cardstock from Country Craft Creations doesn't do that, but other papers do, so you want to just be careful with that. Okay, so you guessed it, we are going to miter these, and then we're going to just glue those here. Okay, so at the top edge, we're just going to miter the 1/2-inch piece that's going to attach to our book. Okay, we're going to leave the others. Whoops, actually, let's do this. We're going to miter the 2 end pieces on the top, leaving the 2 middle 1/2-inch sections straight for the pocket. Okay, and then on the bottom, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of miter the whole thing. Okay, just to make it fit a little bit nicer. Okay, like so, and then this will fold up like that. So again, we will put glue. Okay, got my flat ends up at the top here. I'm going to turn it so I can see. Put that there, right to the sides of this piece, like so. Okay, so that's glued down. All right, do it again over here. So again, the top edge, we're just going to miter the 1/2-inch on the outsides. Okay, like so. Just miter those 2 outer ones. And then on the bottom, we're just going to go ahead and just miter that all the way across. Okay, so it'll kind of look like that when you get done, but then that'll fit nicely when you fold that bottom up. Okay. Okay, right to the edge. Like so. put this off to the side because I'm going to fling it across the room if I'm not careful. All right. Then what we're going to do, and this is the easier way to do it, so let's just do it the easier way. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on here before we fold it up and glue it, okay? So I'm just going to be super careful not to tape it to my desk here. Okay. I'm going to fold it over and kind of burnish it down on that. Okay. All right. And then this is where we can grab our glue, and this is really far apart here. So get your clips handy and fold that down and do that. Okay. So now we got tape sticky side up ready to go. We don't have to try to inch it underneath that corner there. Okay. I'm going to put glue here, a little bit of glue here. Okay. Get our clip ready to hold that down. Give it a second. And then let's grab our book while that's drying. So that pocket, we're going to open it up. Open it up. This is that B piece, that piece that we put right on the other side of that spine there. It's going to go right here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get this B piece out, and I'm going to just, the beauty of this project too is you can lay it flat, okay? So I'm just going to open this up fully. This is that B piece again, so you can kind of see. You had one on each side. We're working on the left side right now, and we're going to put it right here, okay? So we'll just grab our piece, and we're just going to glue it down, and that's all we're going to do for that. Now, all the pattern papers that I cut are, for the inside of this, are 1/8 inch smaller than the piece they're covering, okay? So just as an example, if I was covering a 6x6 piece of cardstock, then I would cut my pattern paper at 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. That's an eighth of an inch smaller than the piece it's covering, okay? So that's how I did all of my papers. And this is going to go right to the edge by that score, by that 1/4 inch score here. And I'm going to lay that down nice and gentle. I'm trying to make sure everything fits. Okay. Like so. And that is going to give you a very, very nice big covered pocket. And then you have plenty of room here to add any like little tuck spots, envelopes, any kind of little pocket that you want to add to this, okay? And then that will fold in like so. And then this folds over like that. And that is the construction of it. So we haven't done anything to this side other than put the pieces on, okay? So like the actual page pieces. But when you open up your book now, you'll have this. And so you'll have this page that'll have photo corners. We're going to do that in a second. Then it'll open and you'll have this page, which will have photo corners. You'll have this nice vertical pocket, or side opening pocket. And then it will open like this. Photo corners will be here. You have a big gusseted pocket here. And then it'll open like this. You'll have your big pocket here with no flap. And then you'll have another space here. We're going to do something a little bit different with this. But anyways, that's how it will look. I hope that makes sense with it. Okay, so let me show you the prototype one more time. Okay, so what I just showed you, you'll open it like this. Okay, this side we haven't worked on yet. Then it'll open like this. Okay, photo corners, flap pocket, and then it opens up again like this. So you'll have photo corners here. You have your big pocket that we just, did here. Okay, here's the side opening pocket without a flap here, that you have this space you could do whatever you wanted with. And then this page here, I'm going to do something a little bit different with that in our tutorial, so we'll get to that. But that's where we're at. Okay, so let's get the photo corners. Let's do the photo corners next, and then yeah, I'll show you about that. So you need to make a lot of these. You need to make 24 of these. We are going to have 6 pages that need them, and so you'll make 24 of these 4 for each page. And then I'll talk to you about the pattern paper in just a minute. But what you're going to do is you're going to make 12 of these 2 by 2 inch squares. Okay. When you get those 12 2 by 2 inch squares, you're going to put them in your scoreboard, and you're going to score them diagonal to diagonal, just right down the middle. Okay. So you're just going to end up having diagonal scores. Okay. Once you're done with that, then you're going to take each one of these little squares and you're going to cut it in half at 1 inch. Okay. And you're going to do it so that you're going to cut straight through, making rectangles out of this square, and you'll end up cutting right through those scores. So what you're going to end up with is a rectangle with a triangular score in it. Okay. Then that's 2 right there. Okay. So you're going to do 12 2 by 2 squares just like that. Then you're going to fold this over and you're going to match the edge, burnish it down really well. And then when you fold the second side over, just make sure everything matches and it doesn't like fold over on itself. You want the 2 inside pieces to kind of feel, fit flush. Okay. And burnish that down really well. And that is your corner. That's it. Sometimes when you do that, you do get a little nubbin of paper that kind of pokes out. So just take your scissors and just trim that off, make it nice and neat. And that is your photo corner right there. You're going to glue these 2 sides to your page. Okay. Just making sure that you don't get glue in the score there so it doesn't glue your photo corner together. Okay. And it's just going to create this little pocket. Can you see that? It's going to create a little pocket, and that's all you're going to do. So you're going to make 24 of those. And again, just fold that down. Make sure that everything matches nice. I got glue on my finger. And then this one's going to try and overlap, but you don't want it to overlap so that there's less chance of your papers hanging up when you're trying to put them in. Okay. So just nudge them over if you have to, and then cut those little nubbins off to make it nice and pretty. Okay, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Now, if you want to do pattern paper, what you're going to need to do to cover these with pattern paper, so you can either, like I use the same cardstock as I used to make the base of my folio and all the pockets and everything. You could use a different colored cardstock if you wanted to. And then you wouldn't have to do anything. But if you want to cover them with pattern paper, this is the easiest way. So I'm going to cut some pieces at 1 1/8 by 1 1/8. Now, this gets tricky if you're using papers that have a direction. Okay. So I'm going to show you. You'll need 2 squares for each page. Put this off to the side for just a second. So these are directional papers. You're going to have a corner here, corner here, corner here, and a corner here. Okay. So what you're going to need to do is to keep the directions correct, you're going to have to use 1 piece of paper to cover this one and then that one, and then 1 piece that'll cover this one and this one. So you're going to have to cut your papers kind of opposite diagonals. Okay. Hope this makes sense. And it's a lot easier if you lay them out as you're doing this. Now, if you're using paper that's not directional, it doesn't matter. You can just go to town. But you see how I cut it? It's still in the same upright orientation. One will go to this corner. One will go to this corner. Okay, top and bottom. And then this one, you'll have to cut, instead of this way, you'll have to cut this way. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to show you here, so that you can keep the directions going the same way. Okay, so you don't end up with a triangle that's upside down. Okay, like so. Okay, so that's how you're going to do that, and that's how you'll cover all of these if you want to. I'm going to, since I started, I might as well finish doing that. But you just glue, and just make sure you keep them in the right orientation, right? And then just glue those down, and then that will add a pretty little accent to, you know, your photo corners. Okay, so that's how you cover those. So those go on the pages, except for that one I told you we were going to do something special with, and I'll show you that right now, but I wanted to show you this first. So these will go on the very first page when you open up your book. We're going to put them right here, okay? So you're just going to take them. This is the top left corner, and I'm going to put a little glue here on each of these triangles, okay, like so. And then this is just going to go on the top corner. I'm going to turn this around so I can see. And it just lines up to the top edge. And this is where my dining room table came in handy, because I could lay this out and do this. So that's another hint too. Okay. And just glue that down. Okay. And that is where your papers will slide into. Easy peasy. Now, if this is this, you know, you can buy photo corners, so you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. You know, so that is up to you, what you want to do. I'm going to turn the, wow, this does get big. Like I said, this is where the dining room table comes in real handy. Okay. I'm just going to try and get my fingers under there so I can push that down, because I can't open this up right now. Or I can, but it's going to, like, my desk is not big. I think when I finish this, I am going to go back to my dining room table and finish this up. All right. So again, just and stick that down. Okay, last one. That one will go down there. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, so I will finish this up. Oh, actually, no, we're going to do that other piece first. And then I'm going to break and then finish this up, and then we will be back and I will show you how it looks, okay? So, yeah, let's push that down. And then this is, again, why you don't need to put pattern paper on these pages, because your documents will cover it right up. So don't waste your paper, okay? All right, so there's your photo corners for your documents. Pretty cool, huh? Make sure you don't glue anything down so you can actually get your documents in there, okay? All right, so then we got our pocket. This is going to have photo corners. This is the piece that we're worrying about now. And this is where, in my prototype, I had a bunch of envelopes, but I had another idea that we're going to do. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to I grabbed 2 scraps of papers from what I had left over. And I trimmed these down to 11 1/4. And then what I'm doing is I'm basically making like 2 side tuck pockets. And you can see where I have the B page hinged here. We kind of need to cover that up, but the rest of the page is nice and smooth. So you can add things to it if you want, or you can do what I'm going to do here. I'm going to show you. So in my prototype, I had stacked envelopes here and I had it covered with pattern paper. I don't have any more pattern paper. So I was trying to think of another thing that I could do. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this here for a second. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to show you. Here's what I did originally. So open it up. I had enough pattern paper where I covered it, and then I added envelopes. I just cut the tops off of them, and then I added a little pattern paper behind them, and then just made like tuck pockets, okay? So you could put smaller items in there, okay? That's what I did on my prototype. So, but on this, since I ran out of pattern paper, this is what we're gonna do. So these are strips left over. So again, they are 11 1/4, and they ended up being, just because they were scraps, this one is about 3 3/8 inch wide. So it's whatever you have left over. So this is 11 1/4 inch long, okay? So I turned it around on this side, and I went ahead and found the center of 11 1/4, and I just marked a little tick mark, okay? That little pencil mark there. This is the back side. This is going to be the underside of the pocket. So that was at 5 5/8 between the 0 point and the edge. So then what I did was I went over here and I was like, okay, so it's going to end up being like 2 3/4 plus a 16th, and I was like, I don't want to mess with that. So I went at 2 3/4. So I lined this up here at 2 3/4, found my center, made another tick mark, and then I put that tick mark in my punch board and punched it. So I essentially, if you ignore this part, I made 2 pockets. Okay, I did the same thing, measured in from the edge, 2 3/4, and then that's where I punched. Okay, so what I'm going to do is when I glue this down, I'm going to glue here on the 3 sides, and then I'm going to put a glue line down the middle, and that's going to give me 2 smaller pockets to hold smaller items. Okay, so if I open this up, oh my gosh, everything is falling down around me, I swear. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to use this to cover this edge up. So what I'm also going to do is put a little bit of tape down over that edge just to make sure that items don't get caught. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to take this pocket, and this is going to glue right here, okay? And that's going to cover up that seam. It's going to give us 2 little pockets to tuck things in. So, and this was using scraps that were left over. So I'm just going to glue on the 3 sides. And then that tick line that I made in the middle of this entire strip, I'm just going to put a line of glue there. I'm going to turn this over and line this up, glue it down. Just make sure you don't get in your score line. Kind of center it top to bottom. Like that. That is the extra little special something that we're going to do with this side. I'm going to leave, because again, I don't have a lot of pattern paper, but this is going to give you 2 nice little tuck pockets here where you're going to be able to add smaller items, but you can, they can be, you know, fairly good size because they can go the width of your page. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with that. All right, so now this is where I'm going to finish this up and come back, and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, I have finished putting all the pattern papers on this folio. So here is the front cover, the spine, and the back cover. Here are the 2 spines on, you know, kind of the opening side. When you open it up, you have places for your document papers. Okay, I have cut out all the pattern papers and put them on my photo corners, but again, you don't have to cover here because when you put your documents or your certificates or whatever in here, they're going to be covered up anyway, so I didn't think that was a thing. So it's divided basically into 2 sections, so we'll do one section first. Let me make sure that we are in frame here. So this opens up, and then you have another page for documents, and then that opens up as well. And you have your big pocket here that does not have a flap. And then you have your 2 smaller pockets here. And let me see if I can find a pattern paper. And we glued them in the middle so that you can put smaller documents in there and they won't, you know, flop around. All right, and so then that closes like that. And then you have your side opening pocket. I did use the Velcro from my stash to close that, but you have a nice big pocket there. Then it opens up again. You have another document area, and then you have this large pocket here. And again, I used a Velcro dot there. So that is that side, and it just folds up like that, and then like that. Here's your spine again. And then the other side opens up, and then we've got another big pocket here. We've got our 2 smaller pockets here. And again, this worked really well to cover up that tab, and you could put smaller documents in there. And then you have your big pocket here with the Velcro dot. And then it opens up like this. Have another document area over here. And then you have your pocket here. Okay. So this is, I just love how this turned out. This is now the 3rd one that I've made. So I think that these are great. You can see how it kind of opens up if I hold it up like this, maybe. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. Nope, I'm zoomed out as far as I can get. But I'll get some pictures and I'll do kind of a walkthrough after I get it get done with this. I'll do a walkthrough and put at the beginning of the video after it's all decorated and everything, and show you on my coffee table like actually how big this is. But it's really a cool document folder. It will hold documents just great, and it will go in your file folder, and it will, you know, keep your records nice and pretty and contained beautifully. So thanks for watching. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help at any time. So yeah, if you have any problems, just let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And go to Country Craft Creations at countrycraftcreations.com. I use the coffee felt brown artisan cardstock here, and the paper collection is again Photo Play, and it is called Everyday Junk, and it's absolutely an adorable paper collection. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day and stay crafty. Bye-bye.